Greetings, meine ornithophiles! Today is a very auspicious and special day here in the garden because we will be featuring a very beautiful and a very birdiful brew here in the garden. This Elysian Night Owl, which is a pumpkin ale with spices. Also very special because tomorrow I am going to see a very special band called Beat, although really it's going to be the day that I'm putting this video out, so kind of today. Hopefully I'll be able to film a little bit in the venue. That would be really, really cool. Anyway, I know it's going to be an amazing show, and so I'm going to try to put on a solid show for you as well, my little beer babies, here in the garden. This beer is very solidly rated. 88 on Beer Advocate, which I think might actually be the lowest, or at least one of the lowest of the pumpkin 12-pack. Yeah, it's tied for Bark of the Moon. It's a 6.7% ABV. I must be honest, this one I don't know if I've ever had. I know my sister and I a couple years ago split a 12-pack of these pumpkin beers, and I'm pretty sure she got most of these, if not all of them. The pour. Well, it doesn't look too dissimilar from the Great Pumpkin that we took a look at. A little darker, for sure. Very pretty. Gorgeous, gorgeous beer. Pretty solid head. Nowhere near as big as that Great Pumpkin head. That was outrageous. I think that might have been because I was using a mug instead of a proper glass. The nose is definitely sweeter than the Great Pumpkin. Probably the sweetest of all four of these beers. It's got more pumpkin than pumpkin spice on the nose, for sure. Very pleasant. Very, very pleasant. I dig it. I digs it. Yeah. The more I smell it, the more I like it. No funk yet. Of course, it's still freshly poured and cold. Give it a shot. Ooh. Yeah. This is definitely the most pumpkin. Ironically, because there's one called the Great Pumpkin. But this is definitely just the most straightforward, straight-ahead pumpkin beer in this 12-pack. Most of the flavor is derived from the pumpkin. There's definitely a good helping of other spices. I know it says something cinnamon, clove, ginger. I would say you could definitely taste the ginger more in this one than any of the other beers. I don't know if they had ginger in them, to be honest. This one you can definitely detect that note of sort of spice. I can almost like feel it in my palate, the ginger. Yeah. If you're sensitive to these like autumn spices, you probably won't like this one too much because this is probably the spiciest of all of these beers. It's interesting because it's definitely also the most just straight ahead pumpkin flavor of these beers. So I would say this one probably would be the most divisive of all of them because the other ones, it's very clear what you're getting yourself into. You know, they're not pussyfooting around. With this one, it just says pumpkin ale on it, you know, and then there's spices listed. So you might get the impression that this is sort of like a normal-ish pumpkin beer, but then you sip and you're like, whoa, this is crazy amounts of flavor going on here. And it does have the most straightforward pumpkin, but it also has the most of these crazy spices. So it's a lot. This is a big beer. And it's great at covering up that 6.7%. If I didn't know better, I would say this was more in the 5 to 6% range. Definitely getting some funk now. Definitely getting a little bit of that funky pumpkin, that fumpkin flavor, which I've detected in, I think, all four of these beers. They tend to not reveal it at first, though, and I think that's a little bit of a sneaky trick that Elysian is pulling on their customers with these brews in particular, because not everybody likes the funk. You know, I'm a funk meister. I love the funk, But I can see how some people would not like the funk. The funk can be a little extreme. But in this beer, it's really not. It's pretty subdued. I would say the funkiest was probably the Dark of the Moon. That was a funky pumpkin. This one is like, there is that funk there, and it does linger. But it's covered up so well with that blend of spices. This is very well done. All four of these beers, of these Elysian beers we've done so far into 12 Beers of Halloween. It's for 2024, darling. These have all been solidly balanced. None of them are off. They're a little funky, but that's just kind of the nature of the beast. The pumpkin beast. The beast. The bumpkin. I don't know. Oh, man. I am having way too much fun with these reviews. This is an excellent beer. I would highly recommend it. Hopefully tomorrow I will be able to do a little bit of filming at the venue in Reading, Pennsylvania, where I'm going to see this amazing beat tour with my boys, Steve, Adrian, Tony, and Danny. I'm really looking forward to rocking out down in the Santana Art Center. And yeah, cheers to you, my beer babies, and auf Wiedersehen!